Hello, hi, and welcome to all our hearts and minds. Thank you again for tuning in. We're here to discuss all things that have been on our hearts and minds, the good and the bad, the concerning or uplifting, or just straight talk. We're your hosts, Kimi, our passionate heart,
Yeah.
and me, Jeanette, our mind and chronic overthinker. Let's get into it.
Things and things.
Hey y'all, welcome to a new episode. Unfortunately, when we recorded this episode last week, we had some technical difficulties. Hate to say it. We were able to save the workout, so without further ado, here it is. Take a listen.
Yes, people, this is where we work out our hearts and exercise our mental fitness and do a deep dive discussion on things that are impacting our culture. And one of the topics that we need to discuss is Kanye West with his White Lives Matter t-shirt. Yeah. And the sidekick that he the shirt with him. But so when we, talk about this Kanye West situation, just recently in the last few weeks, he had a fashion show, and before the fashion show commenced, he decided to, walk around with a T-shirt that, and imagery is very important. He had a black T-shirt on that had white writing saying "White Lives Matter." Then I don't like this woman. I don't think that she's not educated and she's smart. She's great at what she does. However, I don't like her. And Candace Owens was standing in the picture with him, right alongside him, in a white shirt with black writing, White Lives Matter. Imagery is important. So when the world saw this, they went up in arms. The whole community is gunning for Kanye's neck. Everybody's coming for him. When I saw the picture, and shortly after, I think he did an interview. I forgot who he did the interview with. I have to look that up. But he addressed why. Thank you. He addressed why
Tucker
he wore that
Carlson.
shirt, and we all know that Kanye likes to stir the pot. He likes to stir the pot. He likes to be what he thinks is a forward thinker and step outside of the box. Now, this was too far outside the damn box here, Kanye. Okay, I have a problem with it. I have a problem with the message. I have a problem that you were standing beside Candace Owens. Now, we know that Candace Owens is, she loves her some Trumps. She loves her some Trumps. Maybe that's where her and Kanye, linked. I don't know. But her views, her political views align with Trump and, that party. And so to see that Kanye West was standing beside her with such a shirt really made a huge statement. And the statement that a lot of people are taking away is that Kanye has not only lost his mind, but he forgot what shade he is. He forgot what color he is. Um, and we know that Candace Owens, she's very articulate. Me and Jeanette have sat down and talked about Miss, Owens here. And she's very articulate. She's very smart. She's very, very knowledgeable and can debate you for days. However, in my opinion, she's using her good for bad. And now she's aligning herself with people like Kanye. Now we know that Kanye has always been in politics from his first statement of Bush does not like black people from way back then. Okay? So we know that he's been in this arena, but now he's rubbing cheeks with people like Candace Owens. And for me, when you're rubbing cheeks with her and being a Trump lover up in Trump's ass and now wearing this t-shirt, White Lives Matter, Kanye, what's really going on? What's really going on? Because one minute, just a couple weeks ago, you wanted to do all this business adventures with black people. Now we're white lives matter. We know he's all about shock value. We get that. But where I said to Jeanette that I feel is different in the shock value is who you're standing beside and aligning yourself with. You know, Candace Owens has a lot of disparaging things to say about the black community, and I don't like how Kanye is aligning himself with her. And at this point, I want to ask: so Kanye, are you down with the black people or not? Like, what we doing? Like, one minute you're on us, you love the black culture, you love black people, and the next minute you're willing to dash us to the side. So what is really going on here, Jeanette? Help me out with this because he has Candace Owens on his side now. Okay,
um, it is
what is really going on here? What is Kanye
sorry,
really
what's your
trying to
question?
achieve? We understand he likes shock value, but are you down with the black community or not? Are
Mhm.
you like what are we doing here, Kanye? Can we
Okay.
stop the shucking and jiving? Like I'm tired of
Okay.
it. Like what are we doing?
So
Stand still and
before
tell me what you're doing. What do you stand for? I'm confused.
I agree with you that I'm definitely over the shucking and jiving. And something that I really despise about Kanye is that his desire for white validation, it really grosses me out. It grosses me out a lot. And but to your question, what is he doing? I think he's doing something that he's done multiple times, and he is, whether it's right or wrong, it is a tactic that he uses, and he kind of goes against the grain and the popular opinion, and he says things that he knows will upset not necessarily black people, but it will just be upsetting to anybody because
Right?
now he's moved into anti-Semitic territory as well recently. So it's like you're trying to get attention.
Uh,
What we right now don't know what he wants attention for because we won't know until like a few months, 6 months from now. I feel like, but two things I do think he wants the attention, and two things I want to bring up. First of all, the show that he debuted, that White Lives Matter shirt, was actually his first. He's been having his Yeezy fashion line for multiple years now, but this was actually the first time that he was able to walk down the Paris runway. He's never been invited for his line. He's always invited, but he's never been invited for his Yeezy fashion line, right? And so this is the first time, so that's, bringing it. I could see, you want publicity there. Second, he's wearing, since that um situation, while he was at Paris Fashion Week, he's wearing a hat that said 2023, right? Since that incident, the few times I've seen him, he's wearing a hat that says 2024, and
yes.
2024 is the next US presidential election. So now it's kind of slowly coming to me what's where, like, his mind is very scattered and all over the place, but it's coming to me kind of what he potentially is trying to do. And especially with him having Candace Owen on his side, like if he's trying to make start his political campaign now, which last time he did it kind of
Oh
last minute,
God.
so at least he's planning ahead. Then I understand everything that he's doing would play into that whole political movement,
Hmm.
because remember, he was running, I think he was running independent, but he does have a right, he does lean more right. So even if he does run independent, which I would prefer that he runs independent because
Yep.
Democrats and Republicans are both trash. Um, so anybody who wins, I'd want them to be independent. Like, obviously, I don't think Kanye should run for president, but I'm saying anybody who's worth anything and has any values will run independently. You might not win, but I think based on principle, you shouldn't align yourselves with those two any of those two public parties. But like anyway, long story short, it's I think it comes down to 2024, and he's trying to start his campaign, and he's stirring the pot, and he's getting people talking. And the only thing is there's so many things happening at him with him at once, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a heavy thing that was happening. We talked about it in our last episode. Everything that was going on with him with his partnership with those two massive companies, and now recently his bank doesn't want to bank with him anymore. I think there's kind of a double standard there. I'm not going to get
Right?
into this because our show is already like going on. We've gone in we've gone in on a lot of things, but anyway, to answer your question, that's he's obviously doing it for a reason. I don't think he hates black people, but I do also think he's not trying to groupthink and just make black people happy, just say stuff to make black people happy, which I'm with him there. But this is very white lives matter. I don't care. There's no argument, publicity, nothing. That is very dangerous
And
rhetoric to put out there, and
before
it's
we
despicable.
conclude this, I did want to say that when you say it's very dangerous what he's doing, Black Lives Matter has taken a hit,
Hmm.
with this investigation that's behind them, and
Hmm.
all of
Fair
these,
enough. Hmm.
rumors that the money
Hmm.
that was given to the actual organization was misused. Um, and there's already a lot of drama that's
Hmm.
behind the name of Black Lives Matter. So when you take such a movement
Yeah.
and evolve it into White Lives Matter, I want to ask you a question, Kanye. When has white lives not mattered? When has white lives not mattered? They have pushed it down our throats from the beginning of time, when you think about it, that their lives matter more than us. That's why there was a movement to say that no, the black life does matter as well. Because white people have, in every sector of our lives, have made some sort of systematic racism happen. So when has their lives not mattered? That's my question. They have made themselves matter from the very jump. So why do you feel necessary to wear this shirt?
I think it, to me personally, I think that is actually the message that I'm looking at ironically. And when he did do the interview with Tucker Carlson, whether he spun it or whatever, it doesn't matter. When he did the interview on Fox with Tucker, he did indicate, and on his social media, it is pretty
So
much
why
a
wear it?
cynical term. Like if you look at it
Especially when
satirically,
you're
to your
aligning
point,
it
yeah,
with a
what,
movement
yeah, well, that's the
that
thing,
has been
exactly.
trying to. Black Lives Matter is a movement. It's not just a name of a title or an organization. It's a movement. And the whole movement,
Hmm.
but the basis of the movement was that our
Yeah,
lives matter
exactly.
as well. Not just white people, but our lives matter too. So the fact that you're going to take a movement and for your own political gain or your own shock value or whatever the hell you're trying to do, you are taking the validity of a movement and dashing it into
Hmm.
the trash. That's what you're doing with your cynical behavior. That's what you're
Hmm.
doing because they're seeing this type of a message on a black man, on a black man. So you're making the movement trash. It already has enough strikes against it. There's already a lot of people who have fallen off of the whole movement
Yeah.
altogether. We don't need a black man to make a mockery of a movement the way you have. Because that's exactly what you did. You made a mockery while you're trying to be cynical. You made a mockery of an entire movement of people who have been busting their tail. And there are legit people within this movement, within Black Lives Matter, who are pounding the pavement for justice for black people. So when you do something like this, Kanye, it's not just dangerous, it's almost setting us back. It's almost setting us back another 10 years because you want to be cynical. or you're using this as publicity for a potential running of candidacy for the government of the United States of America. Now, Kanye, we understand you guys in America will put the dumbest ass person in charge of your country, but I'm sorry, bro, they ain't giving it to you. Let's just call a spade a spade. They will put someone as dumb as Trump in place before they put you
Mm.
there. Because first, you's a black man. You're not racially ambiguous. You're not biracial. You's a black man. So if you think that you're just going to march up in the White House because you put on a white Lives Matter t-shirt, you's wrong. You are wrong. You need to check yourself. Because if you haven't noticed, they don't want you at the table, Kanye. They never have. Yeah, you were able to buy your way in on that table with your billions of dollars, but still to this day, don't you see, black man, they don't want you at the table. I thought you had some sense. Maybe you were on, your medication that day where you said, "Oh, Sway, I'm going to make my own." I thought you were on a good path, but then lo and behold, you showed me that you're not. So you know what? Specifically with Candace Owens, I want to mention something about her. I don't like her views. I've tried to listen to her. I think she's very intelligent. I can call a spade a spade. She's
Mm.
intelligent. She's a great debater. And
Yeah.
she's very knowledgeable about what she's passionate about. However, Kanye, I think it's very, dangerous for
Mm.
you to align yourself with someone like her because she's an opportunist. So with an opportunist, we all have to
Yep.
understand that if they
Mm.
have to step over you, they will. So while you're chummy, wearing the same shirt and shit, she's using you. And when the time comes, if the time ever came, best believe me, she will step on you too, Kanye. So you stay there with your Candace. And last thing, my last thing, I swear to you, imagery is very important. Now, when you saw Kanye as a black man in a black shirt with white writing, and you saw Candace in a white shirt with black writing, we see that Candace Owens is very much she wishes every day she woke up a white woman. Tell you that right now. She wishes every day she woke up a white woman, but she's not. Okay? But I found it very funny that they put her in white. Now black with the colors, because one was white
The
and one
coon
was black.
colors.
The t-shirt that she was wearing was white with black writing, and the
Mm-hmm.
t-shirt that he was wearing was black with white writing. Now, when you see those images come at you, okay, color plays a big part. Color. So it stands out more depending on the shirt that you're looking at. So with Kanye, he has a black t-shirt on, it has white writing. And it just shows how much Kanye would love to be able to say, I am white. I have the acceptance of white people. He wants to say that desperately. He really does. And you can see
Mm.
it in all of his movements. You can see how he behaves when he's
Yep.
around white people. Okay? He's a different somebody when he's around white people
Mm.
than when he's around black people. Look at his interviews. Go back and you'll see them. So with Kanye, what I will leave off is this. The imagery that you're putting out into the world, you need to be very careful because guess what? Your children, you can call them biracial, but the world will see them black. The world will see your children as black. So while white lives matter, don't forget your children. Your children's lives will matter. So the movements we're trying to make today are going to help your children in the future. So while you're here trying to counteract that movement, remember, you're only doing damage for the future of your own children. Just make sure you know that. But anyways, Kanye, I can't lighten this up. I'm sorry. I can't make that. I don't have no positive something on this. The only spin that I
That's
have on
okay.
this is that I didn't like none of your fashion, Kanye. It looked like trash. You need to go back to the drawing board. Try again. But, anyways, moving on, we do hope that your hearts and your minds were activated on this week's show, as long as it was. But either way, we do want you to lead with your heart and your mind. Stay passionate and thoughtful. Chat to you.
Bye bye.